I mean, when you think about it, now with the compact flash was opposed when you had 3.5 floppy drive. The 3.5 floppy is only 2.5 megs. With the compact flash now, you can get up to, I think it's like a gig now on a compact flash. So a gig as opposed to like 2.5 megs, where you flipping CDs, you just got one card and you got your whole library on one card.
What about burning my project at the end though?
At the end, you can burn your project right down to the CD, but that's after you get the CD drive. That's the only thing they make you have to go out and buy. You have to go out and buy the actual CD drive. I think it goes for maybe about $300 or something like that, which isn't too bad. You know what I mean? You cop that and you're good to go. And you can burn an audio format, or you can burn like a WAV format or MPC format, which you can actually which is an Akai format. So you can take, but the cool thing about Akai formats is that now you can take that same file, you can pop it into a Triton Studio.
Oh wow, that's nuts.
Yeah, because the Triton Studio has a disk drive, and Triton Studios, they read Akai formats. So you can pop that into a Triton or something like that. And another thing that makes it a little better, it isn't as bulky. It's a little bit thinner, a little bit more streamlined, you know what I mean? And with the bigger screen, and now you're not looking at that screen, and that backlight on the screen is a little bit better too. It's green instead of just that like white clear color.
You hear any sound differences?
And sound quality, no, they still using a 32 voice, 16 megabyte sound engine inside of it. But that's always been the cool thing about the MPCs, the fact that they were using 16-bit, where everybody else was stepping their stuff up to 24-bit and better, or the 24 then 32-bit or whatever that they were using. Now everybody, they stayed at 16-bit, which was cool, because now anything that you sample into the MPC is going to give you that dirty, that gritty sound. You know what I mean? But the samples that they give you inside of here, the samples that are inside of it, loaded inside of here, they're still like a 32-bit sample, you know? But you can dirty it up if you want to resample it back into the machine or whatever you want to make it dirty. But the sample inside of here is a 16-bit sample, which I like a lot when I mix it with my other stuff. Like if I have a Triton or if I have a motif or something like that, and I mix the dirt drums of this with the clean sound of the keyboards, it just gives you that real nice balance. It almost gives you like an analog feel, but it's still digital. Just because it's dirty with that 16-bit, it still gives you that kind of feel. Also, I said it before, you get the 8 output expansion that's already in there. It's already there. With the MPC 2000 or anything else, you got to buy that expansion. The digital I/O is already there. So if you want to, if you do want to hook up like a CD burner that you have at home, and you don't want to go out and buy a CD burner, you can hook that up to the digital I/Os, and it's a digital transfer, and you don't have to even worry about any type of signal loss. You know what I'm saying? So you got that, and you just basically pop that guy right there in that digital input/output, and you're good to go.
Compare it to the 1000.
To the 1000, what would I say about the 1000? 1000 doesn't give you the 8 outputs. That's automatic. You don't get the 8 outputs with the 1000. 1000, you don't get the CD expansion option. 1000, you also don't get the 2 faders with knobs for real-time control features.
For dollar, would you mess with the 1000 or would you mess with the 2500? Dollar for dollar. First machine.
First machine?
First machine.
First machine, if money was an issue, I'd go with the 1000.
Yeah.
Definitely. If money was an issue, I'd go with the 1000. Because I can add all the stuff outboard of the 1000 to make it do what this can kind of do. The 1000, this is basically just like a big brother of the 1000. It's not like that much better than the 1000, where I can't do the same thing with the 1000 that I can do with this. Because one, I'm not a real-time guy for the most part. If you're doing beats in the house or whatever, me personally, I don't do a lot of real-time stuff. You may get like a lot of the techno guys, they might like a lot of the filters where they can do sweeps and stuff like that using the real-time functions. Or a lot of times like the down south guys, they'll use a lot of the real-time functions for like the real fast triplet hi-hats and stuff like that. If you want to triple up on stuff, you may want to do pitches and stuff like on an 808. You can do all that stuff or whatever using the real-time function. What up? No, we're just about done.
Just kicking it.
But other than that, I would probably go with the 1000 first, and I would go with the 2500 second. the 2500 is definitely a great machine. It's definitely going to be the wave of the future, replacing the 2000 XL. The 2000 XL was a great machine. They just basically took the same technology from the 2000 XL and made it so great, and then they just put it into the 2500 and made this a better machine. They gave you a couple extra features. I mean, it's hard to make something like a 2000 XL, which was already a great machine, to make it better. So they basically they made it better with a couple extra features. They didn't charge you a whole lot more when they went from the 2000 XL into the 2500. I think maybe a couple $100, and that's it. I mean, let's be real. You take a couple $100, you spend that in one night when you go out or whatever. You know what I mean? So it's definitely one of those machines that's worth having. I think one of the best features of it also is the input through now that you can use. So you can plug your keyboard into it. You don't have to be in sample mode to hear your keyboard or whatever. So if you have your keyboard hooked up through MIDI and you're doing your beat and you're making a beat, but you're using sounds out of your keyboard, right? But you're using your MP to do the beat. Now you got that keyboard plugged right in here. You don't have to be in sample mode to hear the keyboard. You can basically just hit play, and you're hearing your keyboard and the MPC at the same time. So it's acting as a mixer with those two inputs.
Can you still use your keyboard too? Also,
yeah, definitely. You can actually play your keyboard, and the MPC 2500 or record whatever you're playing on your keyboard into the 2500. Just recording MIDI notes. So you can sit up there and play your keyboard or whatever, and whatever you play on your keyboard, the MPC 2500 will record that because it's just MIDI. Yeah. That's it. Other than that, man, it's just a great machine.
I'm getting
just
that
upgrade.
Too.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those machines where you definitely have to jump into. And like I said, the foot switch feature is real cool also. So if you over here playing your keyboard, right, and you playing your keyboard, but you want to be able to trigger the MP to start recording, instead of you going over here and doing this, you got me? You can actually have that foot switch. Hit the foot switch, your record function just started. And you never have to go over here to actually touch the MP. You can do everything right there from the foot switch, which is a great feature to have. So you can trigger the play, stop, and all that type of stuff, especially if you're doing some live stuff. So if you're doing something live, you got the MPC 2500 sitting on the side, you playing your keyboards, whatever, you're live, and you got a drummer back behind you, he's playing along, you can trigger that MP just from hitting the pad, from hitting the foot switch, which is cool. So, I mean, it's definitely a lot of stuff that you can do with this, man. They stepped it up. They definitely stepped up the ball game. It's a step down, though, from the MPC 4000. But if you look at the 4000, it's bulky, it's kind of big. It's one of those type of pieces, boom, you want to leave in your studio and keep it there. MPC 4000 basically holds a lot more information. Same basic drum pads, 16 pads, 4 banks and stuff like that to do everything you need to do, and you're good to go. You know, but it's a great piece of equipment, man. So I'm signing off. This is Taj, and I hope you had a good time with me today on the MPC 2500.